Welcome back everybody, Aswanation here. On the episode today we have another very exciting car that we want to look at. So a few options have been on the market in terms of the compact crossover SUV for people to choose from. There has been the Toyota Harrier or Lexus RS300, there has been the Toyota RAV4, there has been the Vanguard. In terms of the European market, there has been the Land Rover Freelander. We've also had the Peugeot 3008. We've also had other makes. But now we have this exciting Volvo here that we want to look at. So for starters, this is a Volvo XC60. Volvo XC60 is a car produced by the Swedish company Volvo from the year 2008. So this car was not there earlier because Volvo began selling the Volvo XC90 as their SUV, luxury SUV, and then come to the year 2008 they launched the XC60. So a little nomenclature to understand with Volvo naming. So Volvo names their cars as X60 or just X to mean crossover compact car for them. So XC is for their SUVs, XC90 their full SUV, and then the XC60 crossover SUV. We also have the XC40, and then for their wagons, Volvo names their station wagons as V. So if you see a Volvo V Estate, that is a station wagon. For instance, there's a Volvo V50, V60, V70, and the flagship is the V90. And then for their saloon cars, sedan cars, you'll see them as the Volvo S. So you'll see the S40, the S60, S80, and S90. Then on this other side here, we don't have it here, but you will notice for other Volvos, you will find we have a T4, T5, T6 or T8, and then we will also have D4, D5, D6 and such. So for the T, if you come to the T typically means the petrol engines for Volvo. So when you have a T4, that is normally the starting point with a 2-liter inline 4 petrol engine. You move to T5, you now get to the petrol 2.5 liter or the 2.4, and then T6 you'll have now the 2.5 or this inline 6 3-liter turbo petrol for Volvo. And then if you move to the extreme, the T8 will now be a petrol engine, either the 2-liter or the 2.5 turbo with hybrid electric motor mated to it as well. That is for the T8. For the D, which is for the diesel, so you will start at the D4, which is a 2-liter turbo diesel. Then we'll find a D5. D5 now we start with the bulletproof, robust Volvo 2.5 turbo diesel engines that have been proven to be quite reliable for a long time. So the D5, you'll find the 2.5 inline 5-cylinder turbo diesels from Volvo, and that is how Volvo names their cars. So you'll find the XC60, D5 or T5 and such. So from the design here, Volvo makes makes some of the most beautiful cars ever to grace the motoring world. Some of you who know the recent Volvo S90, S80, as well as the now facelifted XC90, you can also check out the Polestar. Volvo was acquired by the Chinese company Geely. I don't know whether people call it Geely or Geely, but Geely. So Geely is now owning Volvo, and they have revamped their production and design that Volvo has now gotten another new arm that is fully making electric cars for them. So Polestar, you will find it with some logo similar to this, but with Polestar, that is entirely a Volvo that is fully electric, which is intended for sale mostly in China and other parts of Europe. Volvo also, in terms of just being efficient, they decided that I think from the year 2016 or 2018, the biggest engine Volvo makes is a 2.5 liter petrol engine. If you want more power, 2.5 turbo or 2.5 turbo hybrid for the T8. But the 2.5 liter is the biggest engine they're gonna make. Other than that, by 2025, they should be making more electric cars than any other thing from their factory. So continuing with the design here, we can see we have full bi-xenon HID headlamps with these reflectors here. Although the indicators, repeater lights are still halogen, we have the 17-inch wheels as standard. We can fit them up to the 21-inch. Side mirrors here with blinkers as well. Nice, big, proportional to the car. If we come this way, just check out the interior. Again, Volvo works well on their design as well. So we have sound system here. Some of them are fitted with Monsoon or Meridian or Harman Kardon. We have this nicely done metallic like finish, aluminium, but it's plastic for the door handles. We have a nicely done dashboard in leather, as well as the seats here, which are also electric to move them forward, backwards, and then adjust them up, and the backrest as well. So Volvo also has an approach for a very minimal and nicely designed interior. So what you can see here is the center console here. It has wood finish, which is real wood for Volvo. If you can have a Volvo and come feel it, you would find that this is a real wood. If you keep scratching it, you can have splinters on your fingers. We have some 7-inch display here for your radio and other configuration. Dual zone climate control. Some of them do come with heated seats, at least for the D5, that is a diesel 5-cylinder. And for the petrol, we start at T5 as well, which is a 2.5 turbo petrol. For this one, this is one of the lower models with a 2-liter turbo petrol engine. So on the steering wheel here as well, you can see how minimal it is. So buttons here for volume, up and down, recycling for your music, cruise control and all that. At the center here, we have your clock, instrument cluster, has a speedo, trip computer as well with other information in here, mileage, as well as outside temperature and your rev counter, which is which marks out at 7,000 RPM. The seats in here are also nicely done, leather all through. We have 2 cup holders in the middle here, as well as a 12-volt power output here. We also have a storage compartment here with some ports here, USB port and auxiliary in there. For your connectivity, you have this cover here for the cup holders in case you're not having cups there, or you just want to use it as a storage compartment. Transmission for this car, there is a 6-speed automatic. There's also an 8-speed ICIN unit. Volvo never does CVTs, so for those who are fans of CVTs, Volvo doesn't use CVTs, at least up until now. They go for either 5-speed or 6-speed manual, or they just stick to automatic transmission. So your sun visors here with the vanity mirrors, as well as this side, your rear view mirror, which has the auto dimming feature. You also have your reading lights over here, as well as just the interior lights, like so. The interior is, the headliner is cloth but nicely done. You also have the middle reading lights over there, and as well we can check the back. Being a compact crossover SUV from Volvo, you can look at the amount of space that we have in here. Very, very comfortable enough. Knee room here, leg room that we have here. You can stretch your feet at least under the front seats. You can see the back of these seats here are nicely done. We also have this adjustment here for your back, for the front passenger and the driver as well. Headroom is also very good. a lot of space in here. We have grab handles as well as hooks for coat hangers and such. The seats here are, you can see, very comfortable. Volvo is all about comfort. Volvo is all about simplicity. Handling performance never really goes into Volvo's designers and engineers. They normally just dwell on comfort and durability. So here you can have 3 sitting abreast, but very comfortable for 2, and then you can use this central unit as an armrest, or you can use it as cubby space for storage for a few of your things. You can also use it as a cup holder here for 2 sitting at the back, that way as an armrest and then cup holder, which is very comfortable. Sitting back here is as comfortable as nothing else compared in this class in terms of these seats. Very comfortable, very nicely done. For the boot space here on the Volvo, we have quite enough boot space. It's a big car, crossover SUV, so we have a lot of room here. We have a full-size spare wheel that is supposed to be under the car, but for some reason it has been kept here after it was changed. So we have a huge boot here. You can also fold the rear seats just to make sure that you can have a lot of space at the back here if you're carrying longer items or bulky items. So the boot is that spacious. You have this secondary cover here that you can also undo it if you don't want to confine your things or your space in here. We also have a 12-volt socket power outlet over there. Under the hood here, we have a 2-liter turbo petrol engine for this car. We had mentioned all the engine options that you may have in this car, from all the way from 1.6 turbo engine from Volvo up to the 3-liter turbo, twin turbo petrol that you will have. Volvo ever did one V8 engine that was engineered by Yamaha. The engine was sourced from Yamaha, but then it never sold. It ended up being killed off production. So a few things to note here, that on this engine, power ranges from 172 horsepower all the way to 340 horsepower based on the different engines that you have. So on this Volvo unit, Volvo has some of the would want to tell you about Volvo, especially on this XC60. So Volvo has been known for safety and comfort. So this XC60, it was fitted with some of these things. I'll just read them for you as standard. So the XC60 has or included the traditional Volvo safety features, including whiplash protection system, side impact protection system, roll stability control, dynamic stability control and traction control, inflatable curtain airbags all round, hill descent control on the all-wheel drive options at least, collision warning with brake support, so the car would automatically brake when it senses there is a collision, impending collision, as well as the auto braking feature. It will brake if you are about to hit something or if something comes or cuts into your way. The Volvo also introduced the new technology that was named City Safety. So this car would detect pedestrians and cyclists, and then it will brake or avoid, assist you to avoid hitting them. The system worked when you are in town with speeds of 30 kilometers per hour and below. Yeah, here we go. How does the Volvo drive? So being crossover SUV, of course you sit a bit higher, higher than the normal sedan saloon cars, so you're a bit higher, so you have a very good view, very good command of the road. The seats here are comfortable. We have some rough surface here. There's not much roll, but it's just good enough for family use, good enough for family daily driving. So you have the suspension softer for that comfortable feeling in a Volvo. Yeah, so I wanted that to happen so that it can remind me to put on the belt, so I can tell you about it. Now, on this seat belt here, in the earlier times, there you go. In the earlier times, the only form of safety in cars used to be a seat belt that was on the waistline alone. So Volvo engineers and designers went to the drawing board and came up with a 3-point seat belt. 3-point in this way. This is point 1 that comes across your shoulders, in between your shoulders, and then point 2 that comes to this other side, point 3 from the anchor point. So 3-point design. So Volvo engineered, designed and manufactured the 3-point seat belt and never patented it, because Volvo engineers and management argued that the 3-point seat belt would be beneficial to the public when it was free rather than at a cost. So they never patented the rights. They never said this is ours, we own this. For someone to reproduce this, they need our consent. No. So they do not need Volvo's consent, and that is how we ended up having 3-point seat belt on modern cars. Volvo gave it to the world for free. No bragging rights, no patent rights. And that is how serious Volvo are in with their security. So this particular unit has enough power to take you from one place to the other. Quite enough punch. This particular 2-liter turbo has just about 200 horsepower, which is a lot for daily driving, because anything in the excess of 200 horsepower or 250 horsepower, you've now gone into another territory of nearly getting to performance cars. So little noise that comes in here, because this car is very well insulated. There's a lot of insulating material on the panels as well as just under the car in terms of stone guards and cushioning and all that. So this car drives well and fast. This has 6-speed automatic gearbox that Volvo sourced from, I think that is IC. Yeah, so it drives well, quite some punch, picks up well. When the turbo comes on song, this thing literally flies for the cars in its class. So things to look out when you're getting a Volvo. Number one, pricing. Volvos are not really that expensive, at least when you're going for a used unit. So things you want to check out for is on these turbo units, if they have not had frequent or real-time service and supervision, the turbos die. The seals die, and then the turbo begins leaking oil, then the car starts smoking. So regular oil changes. You would want to inspect the wiring and the electrical connections, because as they age, they tend to become a bit friskier in terms of their wiring and connectivity, electrical faults. Suspension components, that is bushing, ball joints, tie rod ends, rack ends, are the things you also want to be checking them and replacing them. Engine service, you can do it at every 5,000 to 10,000 kilometers using fully synthetic oil. There's an argument of about whether 0W40 or 5W40 or 5W30, but it doesn't really matter as long as you do them. Volvos are good cars. Volvos are hardy cars. At least for the modern era, Volvo are now very beautiful cars. So when you buy them, you will enjoy the power, you'll enjoy the music. It has very good surround system from Harman Kardon or Meridian or Monsoon. So this XC60 is a better option compared to the JDM options that you have on the market. So if you get one of these, believe you me, you will not regret. It is one of the best units you can ever get, you can ever spend your money on. You will get value for money on this unit. So thank you guys for getting this far. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, like more of our content to make sure that it is recommended to a lot of you for us to be able to also make more videos for you. Always remember, Volvo fanboys always believe in Volvo for life, Volvo for safety, Volvo for comfort. Wait until we do another episode on newer Volvos that have that beautiful design on the Volvo headlights. It's called the hammer effect on the Volvo headlights. Thank you guys. Cheers. See you next time in the next video.